So let's talk about AI. Specifically, how do we move beyond just, chatting with it and start really directing it? We're going to dig into this idea of shifting from a simple conversationalist to a full-blown conductor, someone who can pull exactly what they need out of these incredibly powerful tools. Let's jump in.
Does this feel a little too familiar? You ask your AI for help, you're excited about the possibilities, and what you get back is, well, it's generic, it's kind of vague, and honestly, not super useful. It's a really, really common frustration, but the good news is it's totally fixable.
The fix actually starts with a really simple shift in your mindset. See, most of us start out as conversationalists. We ask a simple question and just kind of hope for the best. The goal, though, is to become a conductor. A conductor gives clear directions, they iterate until it's perfect, and they get extraordinary value. Let's break down how you can do that.
And that brings us to our first big idea, really adopting the conductor mindset. The main principle here is so simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. The machine, it isn't the expert, it's just an instrument. You are the one in charge. This whole idea is just captured perfectly in a quote from Jeremy Davies. The machine is not the expert, you are. The machine is the instrument. You are the conductor. Seriously, keep this quote in your head because it is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, so how do we actually start conducting? Well, it all begins with how you craft that very first prompt. This is all about laying the right groundwork, because even a little bit of structure right at the beginning can make a huge difference in the results you get back.
And here's something that's absolutely crucial to remember. Your first prompt is just a rough sketch. It is not a finished masterpiece. The goal is not perfection right out of the gate. The goal is just to get the conversation rolling so you have something to react to.
Now, to help with that first sketch, here's a really handy tool, the CRAFT framework. It stands for context, role, action, format, and tone. And look, you don't have to use all 5 every single time, but just layering in 1 or 2 of these elements, it will dramatically, and I mean dramatically, improve your results from the get-go.
All right, now we're getting to the next level, the power of iteration. Honestly, this is the real secret of the experts. It's not about writing one single perfect magical prompt. It's all about skillful, strategic refinement.
What's so interesting is that most of the time, we don't know exactly what we want until we see that first draft. And that is completely okay. That's just a natural part of doing anything creative or analytical. The whole process is really just a simple 4-step loop. You prompt, you read what comes back with a critical eye, you refine your instructions with specific feedback, and then you just repeat. This isn't a sign that you failed on the first try. This is the method for getting it right. Let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine you start with something super simple like write a job description for a data analyst. What are you going to get back? Probably something really generic, total boilerplate, and pretty uninspiring, right? That's our starting point.
Okay, now for iteration 2, we start adding some specific constraints. We tell it, no, this is for a mid-level analyst at a fintech startup. We want you to focus on SQL and Python. And hey, keep it under 400 words. And boom, instantly, the result is so much more focused and useful.
And for the final polish, iteration 3, we say, good, but let's adjust the tone to be more warm and direct. And here's the killer move. We replace that boring qualifications section with something way more compelling, what you will actually do in your first 90 days. Now we have something that's practically ready to post.
This little journey just captures the whole process perfectly. The first prompt is basically a question. The second one is a correction, but by the third one, it feels like a true collaboration between you and the machine.
Okay, but let's be real. What happens when the AI gets things completely, totally wrong? Well, it's time to learn how to debug the conversation. This is all about tackling the AI's biggest flaw and turning what feels like a failure into a really productive moment. The official term for this is a hallucination. It's this weird thing that happens when the AI generates text that sounds totally plausible, it's well written, but it's just plain wrong. Understanding that this can happen is so key to using these tools safely and effectively. So when this happens, don't just delete the output and get frustrated. Start asking it questions. Using these kinds of diagnostic questions like, why did you choose that approach, or what information were you missing, helps you see its thinking and turns that failure into a powerful learning opportunity for both of you. And now for our final section, we've got a technique that might just change everything for you, and that is letting the AI write the prompts for you. This is really the ultimate expression of the conductor mindset, directing the AI to build its own set of instructions. The idea is almost deceptively simple. Instead of you struggling and agonizing over writing the perfect, super detailed prompt from scratch, you just ask the AI to create it for you based on a simple description of your goal.
This technique is called meta-prompting. All it means is you describe your goal in plain, everyday language, and then you let the AI act like a consultant. It'll start interviewing you, asking you questions to get all the details it needs to build a really high-quality, reusable prompt.
So you might start with something really simple and human, just like this. I need to write a monthly board report. I never know where to start, and I always feel like I forget something important. This is our before state. Very relatable, right? So after the AI asks you a few clarifying questions, it spits out this, a powerful, perfectly structured prompt that's got your context, the key sections, the right tone, everything. This is your after state. And the best part? You can save this thing and use it again every single month. So what's the big takeaway here? Let's make it super practical. Here is a clear 5-step plan you can literally use on Monday. First, pick one recurring task you do every week. Second, draft a quick prompt using that CRAF framework. 3, iterate a few times to make the output better. Then, and this is the key, ask the AI, based on our conversation, write a reusable prompt for this task. And finally, just save that prompt. You've just built your very first Conductor's tool. And that brings us right back to where we started, to that central theme. This is not about becoming a coder or some kind of technical genius. It's just about a simple shift in how you think about it. Because with these tools, the machine is the instrument, but you are the conductor.